Captains, welcome aboard the Tier 3 British light cruiser, the Danae. And this is going to start a new series involving this ship all the way up to Legendary Tiers Minotaur. And we'll be featuring each ship along the line and taking a look at them, one by one, starting with the Danae. So welcome aboard, Captains. For those veteran players that already understand this ship and would like to see the gameplay, there's a time code below. If you are looking to grind this ship and the line and you just want to understand more about it, here is the setup that I use. For the lower tier ships, I recommend Bruce Fraser. First of all, he's free. Second of all, he is very focused on the guns, and at the lower tiers, it's hard to change the rudder maneuverability characteristics because you just don't have the module slots to do so. So I recommend Bruce Fraser, and you will see him and this setup for most of the ships at the lower tiers. The inspirations are Scott and Membelli, which helps with the cruiser's grouping and the reload. The base perk is Make Haste, which increases my movement speed slightly, and everything else has to do with gun and torpedo performance. Starting off, we have 20,900 hit points and no torpedo reduction. At these lower tiers, you're just not going to see many hit points when it comes to the cruisers. The guns on this ship and the entire line are only going to be AP shells. You do not have HE as an option, and that's what makes this a little tricky. However, the shells are short fuse AP rounds, meaning anything with light armor, such as destroyers, other cruisers that have light armor, or the superstructure of most battleships are going to be very susceptible to this shell type. So any opportunity you have, that's what you aim for. The torpedoes are unique also to this line in that you can single fire or tube by tube with each pull of the trigger. This ship, once fully upgraded, has 4x3, meaning 12 torpedoes, 6 on either side, which you can single fire with the torp range of 6.6 kilometers with this build and a torpedo speed at just under 60 knots. We do face a carrier in this match, which is why I'm featuring the AA, but it's not great. Planes, if they want to focus you from a carrier, can and will do so, and there's not much you can do about it. Again, the maneuverability and the ability to change that at this tier is very minor, so that is why I leave it bone stock, and I just deal with it at this tier. The maximum speed is a little over 30 knots, a good turning circle radius, and the rudder shift is decent. Our detection by sea is 9.1 kilometers, and we do not have a smoke generator on this ship. So firing from smoke, although good, is only useful when you're borrowing somebody else's. The rest of the line will have that as an option. The Danae does not. You will notice a familiar theme with this ship and every ship in this line, and that the armor is very light. It's very thin, and it can be pinned by practically everything at every tier as you go up the line. This ship, however, comes with an icebreaker and is relatively protected if hit at the waterline. However, right above that, it's only 10 millimeters, which is the same as the Omaha at tier 4. It receives the same treatment down here at tier 3. Most everything can penetrate your bow unless they hit the waterline, as seen in the examples here. Enemy cruiser detected. This is why it is vital to protect yourself at all times. Maintain your concealment, try to get behind cover, utilize islands, if there are smoke screens, specifically in this ship. And the higher ones, like I said before, you have a smoke generator at your disposal. They just did not give one to the Danae.
Good luck and fair seas. Roger. I owe you one. Show 'em what we've got, chaps.
So we are on Greece, and we spawn right across from A. And one thing that I did forget to mention is that this line also benefits from having a stock standard built-in acceleration boost that is not an option for the other modules, whereas most ships of other lines, you can equip that in a mod slot. This one, it automatically comes standard, which is why we're able to get to full speed rather quickly. However, just because you have that acceleration boost does not mean that you stop quickly either. In fact, it's the exact opposite. This ship, along with every ship at this tier, when you stop, it takes a while to slow down. So keep that in mind. You must be cognizant of when you want to stop and plan ahead. Otherwise, you will breeze right past the point which you want to, either into oncoming fire, around an island, through a smoke screen. All of those things can be detrimental if you're not paying attention to your speed or where you want to stop. Here, I am pushing straight into alpha. It's a very aggressive play. It's just the player that I am. Call it smart or not. I am trying to get in here to use the islands as cover simply because I don't have smoke to rely on, and I don't trust my teammates to do this job, if I'm being honest. I am getting in here because the Furitaka's already in here, and if you can see on the reds, a lot of them are pushing up, whereas my ships are hanging back, which is fine. I don't mind the support from back there as long as I do get it. Here I push, again, a little too far. I've tried to stop, but I'm drifting a little too far forward, and the island is blocking my shot. Our friendly destroyer that is behind me has popped his smoke screen, so we're going to back up into it. I'm just not able to get these shots to go over. The arc on these shells is not the greatest. Here the Breton is pushing around the corner and doesn't look like he is slowing down, so these torpedoes are for him. However, unbeknownst to me, he beaches. Whether that was intentional or not, it is going to be successful for him. He doesn't get hit by those torpedoes. So I'm going to have to swap sides to get my torpedoes off. I'm not shooting at the Breton because I don't want to reveal myself in the smoke. He disappears because he hasn't been shooting. We get to showcase our single fire torps, and with the Furitaka so low, I now open up, hoping that I can take out him and the Breton relatively at the same time to get a double strike, but it's not meant to be. Our carrier does take him out, but thankfully we take out the Breton. So we are able to clear this cap, and now we are capping it. The Ishizuki is pushing on the far side, and we're just trying to maintain this cap as long as we can. The carrier is a pest, but we also have the ships behind us that is helping us and making it difficult for the planes to get any type of drop on us. We do get our torpedoes back on this side, and I am pushing around. I'm hoping the Ishizuki is not aiming at me. We're going to shoot one set because he is not focusing on us. We finally get the cap right before his secondaries go off and hit us. So that was pretty fortuitous timing. And those torpedoes do look good, but he's getting whittled down. So are we going to get him? It looks like yes, we do. So this cap is pretty much ours. And thankfully, we have not lost Bravo. Most of the team has been whittled down. We were able to do well on our side, and it looks as though our team on the opposite end has done a good job as well, leaving just this Wyoming, who is getting pretty focused. The Montecacholi and the carrier. So as this game wraps up, the Danae is not an easy ship to play well in. It does require a lot of support. You'll find that is a common theme throughout this line. So it's a ship that works best when you're in a division with other players, specifically a destroyer. Not necessarily a carrier, because the AA on this boat is not good. It does not have smoke screens, so having a destroyer captain that can provide that will maximize the potential of this boat. Playing it solo, it's a mixed bag. You just don't know. And the AP is tough because ships that bow tank you can bounce a lot of those shells. So you have to be selective with where you aim. If you are facing a lightly armored target, whether it be a destroyer or a cruiser, the AP shells, because they're short fuse, are very effective. And shooting the superstructure of battleships or on the upper belt will also help. However, if they angle appropriately, they can negate a lot of your damage, and it becomes a little bit of a nuisance. The torpedoes also help, and as you go up the line, the utility gets a little bit better. However, the armor doesn't seem to get a whole lot better. Here we're just got the Montecacholi left. It's a foregone conclusion that we're going to win, but he has semi-armor piercing rounds, which is somewhat similar to the short fuse AP rounds that this line has, but they have different penetration angles. And I don't know those, other than you have to be a lot more steeply angled to bounce SAP, semi-armor piercing rounds, than you need to when it comes to these rounds that the Danae has. So still in this smoke screen. This game is a foregone conclusion. We're gonna win, but he sees me. I'm just juking and jiving to try and negate a lot of the damage, and he's still flat broadside, and our team quickly takes him out. So that's a look at the Danae for you. It's the first of this line. The next we will be focusing the Emerald. And first on the leaderboard for this game, not the greatest, but it's low tier. And it was the best showcase that I could find. So anyway, Captains, thank you for watching. I hope to see you throughout this entire series. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a fun one, so stick around. It gets better from here, I promise. And looking forward to seeing you in the next one, Captains. Fair winds and fair seas. Have a great day.